Hey, what's up?
We're live!
Episode 71, KT Confidential,
We
real
fooled ya.
estate podcast.
We're not dead.
I'm Adrian.
I'm Ariel.
This is episode 71, and we are alive. Last podcast, we thought maybe we wouldn't be alive.
Yeah, the world was coming to an end, but things are good. Things are good. Business is great.
So today, we wanted to talk about, and this came up recently, so I can't remember where it came in on. I had it was a client, an existing client that we helped a year ago. And they sent me a message saying, generally, is it a normal practice to complete a preliminary home inspection when listing a house for sale?
So in the last podcast, I told you about our property on Bar Crescent, that
Yes.
one of the offers, I knew the people had not seen the home. She asked me if we had completed a pre-home inspection on the property, and I said no. Here's why. If I hire this home inspector or the seller hires this home inspector, how do you, as the buyer, know who that home inspector is, how qualified they are? Is this inspection actually legit? And I'm telling you, from experience, maybe 5-6 years ago, a home that one of my clients purchased had a pre-inspection.
Yes. I know where you're going with this.
I took a copy of that inspection. They didn't know I did, but I went literally page by page, took my TurboScan app out, and I made a copy of all of the relevant information, took it with me. We bought the house. We still had our own home inspection. Two totally different things. Yeah, a lot of things were duplicated in both inspections, but our inspector picked up things that were conveniently overlooked by the other inspection. So would you actually trust? Now, if it's somebody that I know and it's somebody that's reputable, maybe. But how often is that going to happen?
Were they influenced by the seller?
Yeah. How do you know?
So that's the thing.
And then in the province of Ontario, home inspectors, it's changing, but they don't have to be licensed. They're not governed.
No, but they are still liable, and there have been lawsuits. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it's going to impact the sale. There may be some circumstances where perhaps unique circumstances where it might come in handy. I don't know. But in most cases, no. And in most cases where I've been involved, where there has been a pre-inspection done, the buyers I was working with wanted to get their own anyways because they didn't trust it.
So in busy markets where the thought process is this home looks good, it's in a good location, they've priced it below market value in order to get a lot of interest and hopefully get a lot of offers. And we see this a lot in the GTA. So the thought process is, I got to go in with a firm offer. So no conditions.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see some kind of an inspection than have nothing at all. And here's my comment to that. Even with a home inspection, you're still taking a risk. On any home you purchase, we have seen nearly new homes that had mold in it. Remember that one house?
One not far from us, the bit underside of all the floorboards.
Yep. Totally molded. And that home was a year old.
Yeah.
Just over a year old.
Just bad materials.
From the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen homes that were 50 or 60 years old and in absolutely mint condition, and then anything in between. You are taking a risk with any home that you purchase, and you just have to be comfortable with the risk factor. So depending on the type of property, if you're buying a 3-story townhome that's attached from 2 sides and doesn't have a basement, what's known as a village home, your risks do get mitigated a bit because you don't have a foundation, a typical basement foundation. You're protected on 3 sides on most of them. So what's the worst that's going to happen? You got a leak in the roof.
Well, and here's the thing. It's generally the only time it becomes a question of, did you get it done, is if it's a home that has a date and time scheduled for multiple offers to be presented.
Correct.
And we recently sold 20 DuPont Court in Brampton, and we were holding offers. And a couple of the people that did present offers completed their own home inspection. So they knew the date and time that the offers were going to be presented.
Yep.
We gave them adequate time for people to get through. So during that time period, they went in, booked a 2-hour window, had an inspector go in, had it done.
Yep. Some of our sales staff have done the same thing over the last few weeks. Get a inspection done before the offer presentation date.
Yeah. So from
and if the homeowner or the seller's representative don't allow you to do it, then I would question, like, why? Why aren't you allowing me to bring an inspector in?
Have you ever had that happen? I don't think I have.
Where I tried to do the inspection before offer presentation date and they didn't let me?
Yeah.
I think it happened once years ago, and it was just a timing issue. It sounded like more than anything. It was, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was the day before they were accepting offers and they were booked with showings pretty much throughout the day. At least that's what I was told. Not sure, they probably didn't want an inspection done during all those showings, which that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Or does it, I'm a big advocate of having showings overlap and having all that traffic because it generates interest and gets, builds this excitement around the property. Everybody going through that's interested says, oh my goodness, I'm not the only one. I better, get serious about this.
So here's my question to you. If you're representing a buyer and you're going into a multiple offer situation, home is really desirable, you don't have the time, whatever, you can't put together an inspection of your own, but they've done
That's my stomach. Yeah.
Sounded like Corona. Would you trust in any capacity the seller's pre-inspection?
I would certainly review it. Yeah.
Something better than nothing? Is that what the approach you take with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would you be saying to your buyers?
Well, I would be telling them to take everything with a grain of salt. It's, one person's opinion of the condition of the home. It's just something to consider reviewing. But do we have time to do our own, or is this, we don't have time to do our own? No. So you're educating them on, potential issues that could happen so that they're aware of their risks. But yeah, of course you would review it.
I've said this before, probably in different podcasts. A home inspector, with the exception of the ones that use infrared, because they can sort of see air seepage, water leakage with the proper infrared. They can only see what they can see with their eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's as of the day of inspection.
The one thing
as an example,
yes,
we sold a home in Burlington that closed a few weeks ago, and everything was good. We had a home inspection, whatever, everything went more or less as planned. Several days after closing, there was an issue with the furnace.
Right.
You can't,
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
I had furnaces fail like 5 days later.
Yeah.
They had to buy a brand new furnace.
Yeah.
It happens. The one thing I would probably do if somebody was really concerned is at least get a ladder and try to get into the attic.
Yes.
Just to look around.
Yep.
There's
a lot can be said that the most important parts of the inspection will be foundation and attic related issues.
Yes. Correct.
Everything else would be relatively cheap.
I would say the largest number of issues that have come from home inspections that resulted in serious concern, whether or not the deal fell apart at that point, or
mold and
whatever,
foundation issues.
Mold and foundation. What else are they really going to find?
Right.
Turn the taps on, see if there's leaks.
Like, I've walked into homes that smell musty.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it has mold. Might be a good indicator, though.
Well, it would certainly raise concern.
Yeah. But yeah, foundation issues and attic issues, those two areas are...
Yeah, get up in the attic, see if there's any signs of water penetration, so any discoloration of the
and here's
roof.
Like, if you go for your first visit, first showing, sheathing. Yeah.
Sheathing. Do you ever, one of the big things with the coronavirus going around, they're saying not to touch your face. It's really hard not to. Do you ever pay attention to how much you are?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I've been making an effort, but I just realized I just touched my face because I didn't itch. Anyways, what were you saying?
I didn't have toilet paper this morning, so I don't really want to touch my face because my hands stink like shit.
That's what socks are for.
That was a joke, okay?
That's what socks are for.
Paper towel. Like, are you too good to use paper towel on your soft tush?
That would hurt.
Really? Come on.
I've got a sensitive...
Absorbent as hell.
It is, but it's rough.
Rough. So, what the fuck were we talking about?
I don't know. You were going to say something. I interrupted you. We were talking about sheathing, roof sheathing, looking in the attic.
So, if you go to a home, here's the scenario. So, today's Monday. Let's say you saw a home on the weekend and they're accepting offers on Tuesday or Wednesday. If you think you're putting an offer in, and you cannot have a home inspection for whatever reason, or you don't want to, at least schedule another visit back to the house.
Yeah, go again. This is one of the big problems.
People, stupid. How many agents aren't taking that extra step to say, all right, well, listen, I know you like that house and you want to put an offer in on it tomorrow or on Wednesday or wherever the hell it is. We've only been there once. We were only there for a half an hour. We have to go in firm because they're going to have 8 or 9 offers. Let's schedule another visit. I'll bring my fucking flashlight and let's look at it a bit closer.
Right. Well, I remember there was a house we sold and...
Sorry for swearing. I got heated.
Just before closing, the buyers of this buyer and the realtor went through
Natalie thinks I swear too much.
For a revisit. She's right, you do. And they noticed during this revisit...
you don't swear enough.
A discoloration.
Except when you're pissed at me.
A discoloration.
Usually when I'm cutting you off.
In the ceiling, in one of the bedrooms, okay? Now, first of all, it was always there. Always there. As an aside, they never had proof that it wasn't. So if you're buying a house, take pictures of every fucking surface. Is that better? Every surface.
I feel the passion.
Every wall, every ceiling, so that you have a reference point for if there's any changes when you move in.
Yep.
But they didn't notice this.
Appliances, inside and outside of the appliances.
Serial numbers, everything. Yeah. They didn't notice it. And the reason
anything that's included.
The reason they didn't notice it was because during the initial visits, people are so excited and caught up in the moment and they're not really paying attention. It happens all the time. Oh, I didn't realize there was a nick in the wall there, and we run into this all the time. People move in, they say, oh, your client's made a, scuff in the floor. No, it was actually there already. You just weren't paying attention. So I agree. Take the second visit before the offers, slow down, walk through properly, and really take in what you're buying.
Here's my pro tip for everybody. When you do go back for that second visit, bring a flashlight, bring a little ladder. Maybe even bring a second set of eyes, like bring mom or dad.
No, don't bring mom or dad.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not mom or dad.
But worst decision ever.
Bring a buddy.
Yeah, bring a buddy.
Bring a buddy.
A buddy that's not afraid to speak their mind.
Yeah. And
not somebody that's just going to blow smoke up your ass.
Doesn't have to be a professional. It can even be a friend that has no contractor hat on, like not it can be just a friend. because sometimes the second set of eyes, they'll see things, right? Especially if they're not emotionally connected to the home, they're not interested in buying the home. So they'll say, hey, did you notice at the corner of that wallpaper that it's already peeling and bubbling and it looks like the ceiling is staining a little bit there? You'll get a different set of eyes. Bring a flashlight, bring a ladder. We carry our moisture meters and our receptacle testers. Those are great tools to have.
That's how I took care of that problem with the mark in the ceiling. I went there, I put the moisture meter on the ceiling. It was reading basically 0.
Yep.
I took a picture of it, sent it to them, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess there's nothing wrong with it.
Yep. But going back for that second visit, and then you see in the first visit, you probably didn't take photos.
No, for sure.
You probably didn't take photos of the appliances, the inside and the outside.
Well, because of the first visit, they weren't. They didn't know for sure they were going to buy it.
Right.
So are you going to do that at every house you go see? No.
You went out and you saw 5-6 homes in the day, and then you went home. You talked about it. Now it's Sunday night, Monday morning, and you decide, we're going to put an offer on house number 3 that we saw.
Right.
You didn't get prepared. Neither did your realtor. Quite honestly.
Yeah.
99% of the time. You need the serial numbers, evidence of what you're buying. Look at it a little bit closer. Now maybe pull out the furnace filter. See, is the filter clean? Were there any stickers on the furnace that it was properly maintained? Run the appliances. Run the washer, the dryer, the stove, the microwave, the dishwasher. Make sure you're canceling it and draining it and shutting it off before you leave. But you can test.
Why
you
do
can
those
test
during
stuff.
Revisits as well?
Yeah, we do, but do it before you buy if you can't have a home inspection.
Yeah.
Take pictures of the electrical, so the panel, the electrical panel. Take some photos, see the wires coming in, if they're, marked, not marked. Do your due diligence, right? Like if you're going to spend.
Well, here's another thing with
8,
home
9.
inspections. If someone is reading a home inspection, like home inspectors have to take into consideration that they are liable for any problems, right? So if something arises from an issue that they maybe made out to be not a big deal, they could get into trouble for it. So when you're reading a home inspection, it could read like the house is falling apart.
Right.
But
the doomsday report.
The doomsday report. But if you're there with the home inspector going through the home,
this house has coronavirus.
That's right. And there's been many, that's why I'm very picky about home inspectors I use, because some of them just don't know how to deal with people, right? Like they blow everything out of proportion. Or they just don't know what they're doing. Or they don't know what they're doing. So I don't like reports. I think it will turn more people off than it will help.
Yeah. At the end of the day, people want to know, is the house safe? Number 1. Number 2, what kind of condition is it in? And what are my expected expenses after taking possession?
Right.
That's what it boils down to. Anyway, I don't trust pre-inspection reports. You can use them as a very soft guideline, but otherwise, get your own pre-inspection.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence. Go back to the house a second time, maybe before you put an offer in. Who knows? Maybe you go back a second time and you didn't realize the master ensuite window looks directly into the neighbor's master ensuite window, and neither one of you have window coverings. I don't know. Shit you find out the second time.
So no, we generally don't believe in pre-inspections.
No, we don't do them. Very, very seldomly do we do them, because
it's never
for everything we just said.
Yeah. If you were listening to the first
20 minutes
of this podcast, that's our answer.
So that's episode 71. Next week, what are we going to talk about next week? Do we have an agenda?
Fly by the seat of our pants.
March break and what you're doing with your kids.
No, this is March break.
Yeah. Well, it's been extended for 2 weeks.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
So March break ends now. April 5th.
6th. 5th. Yeah. 6th.
Don't take your kids to work. That's episode 72 of the KT Confidential podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, and comment.